Hey, yeah, that was working. We got you working. Hey,
I had to steal my colleague headset.
okay, sounds good. No problem at all. Just so you know, I am going to record, and I am recording the meeting so that we will be able to, you can review this in the future. I'm really glad you got a headset. That's great. Um, my name is Kelly Caldwell. Most of you have met me in person before. If you haven't, I am the head of our Cisco Academy here at Stanley Community College. I'm our lead instructor in the Instructor Training Center, and I'm also the lead of our Academy Support Center. I've been with the Cisco Networking program now for about 22 years, 21 years in that time frame. So seen a lot come and go. The good news for you is this is the connecting class, so you're finishing the final class. And even with all the changes coming with the CCNA, once you finish this class, you will be grandfathered to teach any of the new classes that come out in November. So once you finish this, you will not have to take anything else to teach the new CCNA version 7. You will more than likely want to go through and review the bridging materials, but you're not going to have to actually go through any additional training if you don't want to, which is neat. The other thing is, obviously, you have until February 23rd, if you don't already have your CCNA, to get your CCNA after finishing this class. And at the end of this class, if you make a 70 or higher on the final exam, which you should do, you will get a 70% discount voucher for the CCNA exam. So if you don't have your CCNA, it's a good time to grab it before February 23rd, and you'll have your CCNA for 3 years, regardless of the changes on the CCNA. Are there any questions on that before we go forward on discussing the class setup and the class housekeeping items? Nope. All right. Well, let me share some things here. The beginning of the class is a little bit confusing. I'm not going to lie to you, because of the fact that we have so many moving parts. We do have, and I'm going to turn off my, because there's no need to run the video and make the video even bigger. We do have several sections here, several items that you have to go into. The first one was Canvas. Now, honestly, all of you are pretty much finished with Canvas because you've gone in and you've done the initial assignment. So you've done our initial introductory forum. You've gone in and completed it. Now, if you want, you can use the Canvas launch page to get to netacad.com or to our NetLabs, or you can just type in those URLs that I'll show you here in a minute. But the main thing here was you did the introductory forum, and it made sure you were in the class and you had attended the class for our auditors. I will ask during the semester that once or twice you go back into Canvas and log in, just to show, quote, you're doing the class and you're logging in. But for the most part, we're done with canvas.stanley.edu. You're going to be working inside of netacad.com. For you, and since you're not an instructor yet, and you are maybe an instructor, and if you are, you've got already, well, you probably are already an instructor because you've got the first 3 classes underway. But you'll need to go to your I'm Learning tab to see our class. And our class is KFC ITC Connect FA 2019. Now, my initials are KFC, so that's why I use KFC, and it also keeps them together inside of NetAcad so I can find my classes fairly quickly. This is where you will be doing most of the work for this class. All right. Once you enter the class, I'm going to ask that you go to modules. Okay. Under modules, you're going to see obviously a section for every one of the 8 chapters that are in this class. You will see under the launch course introduction, the pretest exam, which is due on September 20th, which is tomorrow. Very important item for you to hear right now. Let me get this clear for you and everyone that's going to listen to the recording. The due dates in this class are not set in stone. Do not have a heart attack if you don't get the pretest done until the 22nd. I put due dates on the items because if you're like me and there's no due date, most of the time you will procrastinate and you'll either won't get it done or you will wait and wait and wait and wait. For you, try to stay with the due dates as much as possible, but if you miss a date, don't worry about it. It's not going to cause major issues if you miss a date by a couple of days. There may be a week that you fall behind, you can't do anything, and the next week you'll do 2 weeks worth of work. That's fine too. We're going to try to stay pretty close to the due dates we have here, but you know, there will be times we'll miss those. You will also see that in each individual chapter, I've got a couple things. First, I've got launch the chapter. If you launch that chapter, it will take you over to where you can read the materials. So the reading materials for this class are right here. And here's your chapter 1, WAN concepts. And it goes out and it gives you all the information about what's a WAN. Why do we call them high-speed WANs when really they're not really as high speed? When you really think about WAN speeds, high-speed internet is really not high speed when every single LAN connection is a gigabit. You will also find under the modules a link, if they are available, to the packet tracers for that chapter. Okay, I'm going to, let's see, mute. I'm gonna mute everybody so it's not picking up the background noise. If you need me to unmute you, let me know in chat, and I will unmute you. Okay, so just type unmute in chat, and I'll unmute you. And you might probably be able to unmute yourself. Actually, I gave you that ability. But you'll see the packet tracers. If you click on the packet tracer, it will take you to that packet tracer. Now, you can click and do the packet tracer, and then when you're finished, I want you to upload your packet tracer using the upload. You'll give your name plus the packet tracer number and upload it to this particular item. Now, I have no upload here because I'm not a student. So under the modules, that's where you'll have your packet tracers, and then you also will have labs. Now, the difference between these is the labs are either going to be a written assignment like this one. This particular lab has no NetLabs equivalent, or they're going to be a lab where you can actually do the lab itself on NetLab. So for instance, I'm going to go show you this. The final item you have for this class is NetLabs, and I gave you access this week to it. Under NetLabs, you will be in a class, and when you go to schedule your lab, you'll go schedule lab. You'll find your connecting class for the fall. You really will probably only be in one class. You will click on the map ASA. Right now, ignore the skills-based assessment, but you'll click here, and then you will see lab 2327, which is this lab right here, 2327. You will be able to schedule a lab. You'll click on it. You'll pick a time. Now, remember, you can actually, or one thing you need to know is you can go in the future. So if you know you have actually time in the morning, you could go schedule time then. Time on the weekends, which the weekends have been are very full right now, later in the day. Actually, this one's not. It was earlier. Maybe it's Sunday's the one that was so full, not Saturday. So there's already, yep, there's a couple reservations, not many right there, so it's not too bad. So, but if you want it right now, you click right up against the red line. You give it amount of time. Now, I suggest that for most of your labs, make them at least 2 hours, okay? So that you can get the lab completed in the available time. So once you click there and the lab is booting, it'll say enter lab. Now here's the neat thing. These are not simulations. These are real routers and real switches booting up, and they're virtual machines booting up to give you access to this lab. Now, if we click enter lab, you'll see that right now the pod's initializing. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes for the pod to boot, and then also be aware of the last 10 minutes of any reservation will be used to reset everything to default. So as I'm looking right here and I look at branch 1, it should be booting up. Central should be booting up. So all these are booting up. The PCs have already booted. They boot quicker than the actual routers themselves because they're virtual machines. So they're all booting, and you can actually look at the status and see that it's all being initialized. Are there any questions about that, about the scheduling process? I'm gonna take you off unmute. Any questions about the scheduling process? So you're at home, schedule lab for myself, and then you're gonna find your connecting class. map, ASA, connecting class, and then you will schedule your labs. These labs are going to be completed on my NetLabs, so I can see that you completed them. Any questions on that?
How about the grading? Do we have to do anything with the NetLab?
No, you do not.
Academy.
All you have to do is upload. What I want you to do is in the lab itself, when there are questions, I want you to take the lab that's inside of NetLabs. Now, here's the important thing. When you're in this lab, you cannot use the information from inside of our class. So if you pull up this document and try to use it, okay, this document right here will not work inside of NetLabs, because in NetLabs, it says this lab's been updated for NetLab Plus. So always do your labs with the PDF that's inside of the NetLabs reservation. Anywhere there's a question, what is the default serial encapsulation for a Cisco router? You can, if you have something that can edit PDFs, you can edit this PDF and upload it, or you can use this document right here and put in the information, because this is an editable PDF. So you can type in your answers. What is the default serial encapsulation? Does anybody know? Anybody know the default serial encapsulation for Cisco? HDLC, high level data link control. Yep, there you go. Sharon, HDLC. Sharon, I've got you unmuted so you can talk now.
Oh, okay.
I unmuted everybody for this. HDLC. So you can type this in and save it and upload it, but just don't use it to actually do the lab, because inside of NetLabs, you've got to be using the one for NetLabs.
My question, sometimes packet tracers have instructions that you have to answer questions. Is the PKA sufficient, or do you want the instructions with answers too?
Upload the PKA and then take the instructions and just drop the answers in a little Word document and upload it with it.
Okay.
Yeah. So if the packet tracer has a section for answers, put it in a Word document, just upload it along with the PKA, because I've got it where you can upload multiple files in the upload.
Okay.
And one of the good things, folks, about this class and about all the classes we teach is once you complete it, I will give you access to, on a normal class, in the modules, you do not have all these uploads and these links to these items. I will actually be giving you that for this class. And so when you teach this class, you'll be able to import this in, and I have a video showing you how to import it in and use it. Additionally, once I get the new curriculum in November, I will build an item just like this and send it out to everybody who's our supported academies for them to use. So,
thank you.
So that's kind of those are the main parts. Obviously, like I said, Canvas we're pretty much done with. We have NetAcad, where you're going to be going into the modules. You're going to read the chapter. Now, here's something I always teach my students. There's 8 chapters. So when you finish reading chapter 1, read chapter 2. When you repeat until chapters are finished. It's amazing to me that students will not read. I had my niece the other day tell me, she said, I don't like to read. And I just about fell over, because I love to read. I'm reading constantly, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So it's hard for me to understand this millennials. I'm getting so old. Millennials today that don't like to read. But you'll read the chapter, complete any packet tracers that are there, like chapter 1 has none. So, and then complete your labs. And last but not least, you will do the chapter exam. The quizzes are optional. You do not have to do them. If you want to do them, you can. They can help you with the chapter exam. Chapter exams are on and allow you to take them up to 5 times without me having to reset them. So you really are just taking the chapter exams, not so much for a grade as for a learning item. Okay, now here's one thing about this class. This class is not as bad as some. It does not have as many labs. It does not have as many different parts to it as others. In fact, it's probably less material than all the other 3 classes. It's probably half of what's in the first class. For that reason, I really would like for you to try to do all the packet tracers and all the labs in this class. I typically do just 80% for my instructors, because I know how busy you are. But this class does not have a great deal of content, so I think we'll be able to do all of it. Are there any questions about NetLabs? Like I said, the question was, what do you do about grading? Well, when this is over, I can actually just go in and look at everything you typed. Another really cool item that's just been added, if you happen to have NetLabs and you haven't been using this feature, inside of NetLabs now, you can actually, and I'll go ahead and show you, say I want my students to make this 192.168.10.1 as an IP address, or 10.10, let's do 10.10. So I'll go in here and do 192.168.10.10. Do that. We'll do 192.168.10.1. Just click OK, click OK, and then we're gonna have them go and do a CMD IP config. One of the really neat things they've added in this new version is you can go down here and do a take screenshot, and now it takes a screenshot of the PC, and you can go PC A with IP set. And so now I could submit that, and when I go to grade, I can actually look at this.
Where was the take screenshot button? I didn't see that.
It's right here in the drop down.
Oh, okay, in the Dropbox, okay.
So it's on the routers and switches, you've got other items you can do. This is where you copy text and send and load configurations and paste text.
Mm-hmm.
On the PC, you've got undock or take screenshot or all these others. So that's a new feature in BE that was just the NetLab BE version that was just actually implemented like I think the last time that came out when they did it. Last revision. So it's really pretty neat. I have an item I can actually show you from my introduction class. So like when I go to look at a class and look at, people been doing labs, that's good. Ooh. I was building a simple network, so I can see all the commands I typed on the devices, show IP and brief and all. But I can also go over to the PCs, and it shows all the different, here's the different pictures. So I was able to actually show, not only did I set the IP address, but I was able to ping 1.11. So showing pingage, which is a really, again, a neat feature, especially if any of you use NetLabs to teach just operating system classes. To this point, we have not had a way to verify that students aren't just going in there and sitting and not doing the lab. But now we can ask them, hey, on step 1, page 5, take a screenshot. And the only way they can get it is by being in the lab and having completed it. So super neat. One thing I will ask too, folks, if you get done with a lab and you're finished, go ahead and go up to the reservation and end your reservation. So like I've got a 3-hour reservation, but I'm done with this pod. So I'll go end my reservation, and now it will clean up that pod, and in about 5 or 10 minutes, it'll be available for one of your classmates or anybody else who's wanting to do a lab. Please do that. That way the pods aren't sitting there in reservations that aren't really being used. A couple other quick things. You do have the ability during a reservation to extend it 2 times for 30 minutes each. In case you do get stuck in the lab and are not able to finish, you will be able to do that. Okay, at this point, are there any questions about how we're going to proceed in the class and how the housekeeping items in the class are going to take place?
Everything's clear now.
Okay, that's better. Good, good. Sharon, you good?
I am.
All right. Well, I am actually going to, I will start my video back up simply because if I stop sharing and don't have a video, it just goes to a blank screen in the recording. I'm going to go to there, and I'm going to now end our video in recording.